very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television, the perfect show to kickstart your day, bringing you the top national, international, sports and business news. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are this morning's headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks the district collectors to prepare resolution document for 2022, asks them to go to the field and better understand ground realities. Vice President Hamid Ansari's last day in office, in an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, talks about issues including Kashmir, triple talaq and plurality. Amid standoff with China, Defence Minister says Indian forces strong enough to meet any challenge. Tibetan spiritual leader the Dalai Lama says talks are a solution. After Rajya Sabha results in Gujarat, BJP and Congress gear up for the state polls. Amit Shah sets mission 150. Ahmed Patel says Congress will re-emerge. And North Korea threatens mid-August a fire of 4 missiles near US territory of Guam as the war of words with US intensifies. World leaders call for calm. Top story this morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday addressed the district collectors across the country through video conferencing on the theme of New India, and the interaction marked the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement. During the interaction, the Prime Minister asked the collectors to prepare a vision document for their districts before the 15th of August this year. The resolution document, he said, should include those 10 or 15 objectives which they feel should be achieved by 2022. The Prime Minister also urged collectors to move beyond files and go to the field to understand ground realities. On GST, the Prime Minister asked the collectors to explain to traders in their district how it is a good and simple tax. The Prime Minister recalled Mahatma Gandhi's message that the ultimate goal of governance should be to improve the lives of the poorest of the poor. And news from Parliament now. Rajya Sabha members on Wednesday unanimously resolved to rededicate themselves for building a self-reliant, inclusive, secular and democratic India on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of Quit India movement. The House also recalled the sacrifices made by numerous Indians who defied the brutal repression of the British forces and shook the foundation of the British rule. Here is a report.
Rajya Sabha Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari moved a resolution on 75 years of the Quit India movement in the House on Wednesday. Members pledged to uphold and safeguard the values of an ideal India.
This House recalls that 75 years ago, Mahatma Gandhi called for the British to quit India and gave the clarion call, "Do or die," to the Indian people to end the British rule. Observes on the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement that it is important to remember the heroic struggle of the Indian people, students, peasants, women, workers and government officials who defied the brutal repression of the British Raj to launch massed satyagraha that shook the very foundations of the British rule. Acknowledges that this is also an occasion to recall with gratitude the sacrifices of millions of our people and salute the memory of thousands of Indians who gave their lives for the freedom of India. And on this day solemnly takes a pledge to uphold and safeguard the values and ideals of the freedom movement and rededicate ourselves to build an India that is strong, self-reliant, inclusive, secular and democratic.
The Quit India movement was launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi on the 8th of August 1942 during the Second World War. It demanded an end to British rule in India. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the 0 hour and question hour was suspended in Rajya Sabha on Wednesday to hold a special discussion to mark the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement. Now, members recalled the events of 1942, hailing the leaders who led the movement. Now, tributes were also paid to the heroes of the struggle who made the supreme sacrifice for the country.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley initiated a special debate in Rajya Sabha on Wednesday, marking the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement launched by Mahatma Gandhi in 1942. Jaitley said that India has faced many challenges over decades, but with each challenge, the country has emerged stronger. He called on citizens to commit to make India a strong, just and economically progressive country, also stressing on the need to fight the global menace of terrorism.
इस 75 साल की अवधि काल में हमने देखा कि विश्व में कई ऐसे देश थे जहां विभिन्न प्रकार के राजनीतिक संकट आए। चुनौतियां हमारे देश के सामने भी आई, लेकिन आज गर्व के साथ हम ये कह सकते हैं कि हर चुनौती के साथ ये देश और मजबूत होता गया। आज का ये दिन इतिहास का एक प्रतिनिधि है और इसलिए हम सब इस देश को मजबूत, न्याय संगत और एक प्रगतिशील आर्थिक दृष्टि से बनाएं, इसके लिए आज प्रण लेने का एक समय है। मैं आपका, माननीय सभापति जी का और सभी सदस्यों का आभारी हूं कि सबने आज सहमति व्यक्त की कि इस दिन हम प्रस्तावना करें कि देश को इस दिशा के अंदर लेकर जाएं। मैं स्वयं को भी इस भावना के साथ पूर्ण रूप से जोड़ता हूं।
Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad recalled the events related to the Quit India movement, mentioning how Hindu-Muslim unity made the movement successful.
क्योंकि एक सबसे बड़ी बात क्विट इंडिया मूवमेंट की हुई थी कि कोई दंगा, क्रिमिनल दंगा नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि महात्मा गांधी और पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू दोनों ने 8 अगस्त को अपने भाषणों में कहा था कि एक हिंदू और मुसलमान मिलके रहेंगे तो ये हम आज़ादी हासिल करके रहेंगे। और मैं बधाई देता हूं उस वक्त के करोड़ों हिंदू और मुसलमानों ने कि इस पूरे संघर्ष में 3 साल के बाद छोड़ा गया उनको। 1945 तक ये लड़ाई लड़ी गई। कोई हिंदू मुसलमान दंगा, हजारों लोग मारे गए, लाखों लोग जेल में गए, लेकिन एक जगह भी हिंदू और मुसलमान दंगा नहीं।
Samajwadi Party member Ram Gopal Yadav spoke about the contribution of socialist leaders like Ram Manohar Lohia and Jai Prakash Narayan, while JDU's Sharad Yadav stressed on the need to learn from history.
जिनसे हमको सबक लेना चाहिए था और उस इतिहास को हमें वर्तमान से लेके आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी को भी याद रखने के लिए कायम रखना चाहिए। इतिहास को बदलने की, इतिहास को भुलाने की, नई पीढ़ी उसको जान न सके, इस तरह की अगर बात होगी तो हमारा जो शानदार अतीत रहा है उसका कोई फिर आने वाली पीढ़ी के लिए मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा।
इतिहास की सच्चाई आने वाली राह की सच्चाई होती है। इतिहास की गवाही बुनियाद होती है और उस बुनियाद को एक ईंट भी इधर से उधर गाड़ देंगे, आप लगा देंगे तो फिर आगे आने वाली इमारत जो खड़ी है वो गिर के भरभरा के गिर जाएगी।
CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri said that the neoliberal economic policies that are impoverishing people should quit India.
Please.
If there's anything that must quit India today on its 75th anniversary, it is these neoliberal economic policies that are impoverishing the mass of my people. It is this communalism that is dividing my country, and it is disuniting our people in the struggle to create a better India.
Okay.
NCP's Majid Memon said the day must be celebrated as a national festival just like Independence Day.
हमें चाहिए कि आवास की व्यवस्था करें, हमें चाहिए कि हम मुलाजमत की व्यवस्था करें, हमें चाहिए कि गरीब और अमीर के फासलों को कम करें, हमें चाहिए कि हम अत्याचार मिटाएं, हमें चाहिए कि हम हेट्रेड को मिटाएं। ये नफरत के बड़े बड़े पहाड़ खड़े किए जा रहे हैं, आपस में लोगों को बांटने की कोशिश की। ये कैसा फ्रीडम है? 75 वर्ष के बाद हमने क्या आज़ादी प्राप्त की है?
Members of several other parties also articulated their views on the movement and the need to uphold the constitutional values.
On the eve of 75th year of Quit India movement, we dedicate ourselves to rebuild this great secular, democratic, socialist country that is India.
ये सारे हिंदुस्तान की जनता की एक ऐतिहासिक योगदान था, जिसमें 10,000 से अधिक लोगों को गोली से उड़ा दिया गया था, लाखों लोगों को जेल भेज दिया गया था और इस तरह हिंदुस्तान आजाद हुआ।
हमें अगर चाहिए, किसी से मुक्ति चाहिए तो भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भारत हमको चाहिए, सांप्रदायिक मुक्त भारत हमें चाहिए, भेदभाव मुक्त भारत हमें चाहिए।
जो सामंतवादी व्यवस्था है, गैर बराबरी की जो व्यवस्था है, अभी उससे आज़ादी नहीं मिली है। उस आज़ादी के लिए अभी हमें संघर्ष करना है। आज भी करोड़ों लोग गैर बराबरी की जिंदगी जी रहे हैं। सामंतवादी व्यवस्था के तहत आज करोड़ों दलित शोषित समाज के लोग स्वतंत्र नहीं हैं।
The only real prison is fear, and the only real freedom is freedom from fear. Aung San Suu Kyi said this, and if our women, if our people, if our Dalits, if the underprivileged and the backward communities and the minorities are not freed from fear of the future, then there is nothing to feel proud about.
इस आंदोलन में अहिंसा ने काम किया है, लेकिन इस देश में ऐसे बहुत से क्रांतिकारी थे जिसने बम बनाए, जिसने ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट पर बम फेंके हैं, जिसने बंदूकें उठाई है। हम उनको भी याद करना चाहिए, इसीलिए ब्रिटिशों के मन में दहशत फैल गई थी।
I feel we should all reflect speeches we can make, but collectively today we should not indulge in any blame game, but reflect how do we achieve their principles, their objectives, and what that they fought for.
Communists did play a glorious role, heroic role in the struggle for independence. M. Singaravelu, who hailed from a fisherman community, who was considered to be the first communist in South India, who addressed the Gaya session of the AICC, and he addressed the delegates as comrades. It is not that communists only gave Purna Swarajya as slogan. They also address the congressmen as comrades, and we all should fight for the independence and upliftment of the poor people in the country.
The House also observed silence in the memory of the martyrs. With Kriti Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And to mark the anniversary, Lok Sabha unanimously passed a resolution pledging to work tirelessly in the next 5 years to build a nation as envisioned by Mahatma Gandhi and other freedom fighters. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress President Sonia Gandhi were among those who shared their views. Here are the details.
On the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Lok Sabha on Wednesday, terming poverty, lack of education and malnutrition as the greatest challenges. Prime Minister Modi called for special initiatives to end such ills in the next 5 years.
हमारे भी लालन पालन विचारधारा अलग अलग रही होगी, लेकिन ये समय की मांग है, ये समय की मांग है कि हम कुछ बिंदुओं से देश को मुक्त कराने के लिए संकल्प का अवसर लेकर के चले, चाहे गरीबी हो, भूखमरी हो, अशिक्षा हो, अंधश्रद्धा हो.
The Prime Minister's speech also focused on corruption that he said has adversely impacted development.
करो या मरो, उस समय का सूत्र था करेंगे या मरेंगे. आज 2017 में 2022 को भारत कैसा हो, इस संकल्प लेकर के अगर चलना है तो हम लोगों को भी हम सब मिलकर के देश से भ्रष्टाचार दूर करेंगे और करके रहेंगे. हम सभी मिलकर गरीबों को उनका अधिकार दिलाएंगे और दिलाकर रहेंगे.
Congress President Sonia Gandhi also spoke on the occasion. Taking a veiled jibe at the RSS, she said some organizations had opposed the Quit India movement and played no role in the freedom movement. Without taking names, Sonia Gandhi said the politics of division and hate in the country was endangering the plural and egalitarian values enshrined in the Constitution.
ऐसा लगता है कि सेक्युलर, लोकतांत्रिक और उदारवादी मूल्य खतरे में पड़ते जा रहे हैं। पब्लिक स्पेस में असहमति, बहस और विचारों की विभिन्नता की गुंजाइश कम होती जा रही है।
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan and other members also spoke about the need to start an initiative to unite the people of the country, as was done during the Quit India movement.
अब हमें भारत जोड़ो आंदोलन की जरूरत है। एक ऐसा आंदोलन जो कश्मीर से लेकर कन्याकुमारी तक देश के सभी हिस्सों में चलाया जाए, ताकि हम एक सबल और संगठित भारत का निर्माण कर सके।
70 years after independence, what are going on? Is there any safety for the woman? Is there any safety for... No, madam, I don't want to say beyond one word how the farmers are committing suicide.
Let us together pledge towards a caste-free from India. It's excellent. At the same time, I want to add two things, madam. Let us go together, pledge to see that all our languages of this country called national language, not regional languages.
If he truly wants all evils to quit India by 2022, including communalism in the pejorative sense of the word, we hope that he will unambiguously condemn and take stronger action against those who are spreading the poison of hatred.
There's the slogan of the digital India. I fully agree, but agriculture is the backbone of our country. But the backbone is now, madam, broken. We see that thousands of farmers coming in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and in other places. It is not a political struggle. It is a struggle for the survival.
On the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement, both the Congress and the BJP paid homage to the watershed moment. While the Congress Working Committee passed a resolution reiterating the importance of the movement, the BJP's youth wing started a Bharat Jodo Abhiyan to mark the occasion. With inputs from Pranav Goswami, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. President Ramnath Kovind felicitated 93 freedom fighters from across the country at his first at-home on Wednesday. Now, Kovind also presented each of them a gift that carried a personalized message from him. The president also released a set of 8 commemorative postage stamps on 75 years of the Quit India movement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari and Home Minister Rajnath Singh were present on the occasion. And Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari feels a sense of insecurity is gripping Muslims in the country. Now, Ansari's second 5-year term as Vice President ends today. Said this in an interview to Karan Thapar for Rajya Sabha television. The interview will be aired on Rajya Sabha TV from 8 p.m. today. We bring you excerpts from the interview.
Functioning of
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari has flagged the disturbing trend of questioning the Indianness of citizens. In an interview to Karan Thapar for Rajya Sabha television, he said this in the context of a sense of unease gripping the Muslim community.
From all I hear from different quarters in the country, I heard the same thing in Bangalore, I've heard from other parts of the country. I hear a great deal more about it in North India.
On the worsening law and order situation in Jammu and Kashmir, the Vice President felt the problem was essentially a political one and needed a political solution.
The problem has always been primarily a political problem, and it has to be addressed politically. Well, when young boys and girls come out onto the street and throw stones, day after day, week after week, month after month, it is something to worry about because they are our children, they are our citizens.
The Vice President also answered questions on triple talaq, on which he said social reform was needed to eradicate the practice.
Firstly, it is a social aberration. It is not a religious requirement. The religious requirement is crystal clear, emphatic, There are no two views about it. But patriarchy, social customs has all crept into it to create a situation which is highly undesirable.
Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari also expressed satisfaction about his 10-year-long tenure. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And you can watch the complete interview on Rajya Sabha TV at 8 p.m. tonight. On to some other news now. After the Rajya Sabha poll results, both the BJP and the Congress are now gearing up for the state elections in Gujarat. Now, BJP Chief Amit Shah asked the party workers to work towards achieving the target of winning 150 out of the total 182 seats in Gujarat in the upcoming polls. He said Mission 150 would ensure that the BJP wins 3 Rajya Sabha seats in the state next time. In the recently concluded Rajya Sabha polls, while the BJP won 2, the Congress won the closely contested seat in which Ahmed Patel won. Amit Shah resigned as the state MLA on Wednesday and exhorted the party workers during a felicitation ceremony held for him and Smriti Irani. Meanwhile, Congress leader Ahmed Patel, who retained his Rajya Sabha seat, said that the victory has come as a boost to the party workers and he has set an aim of 125 seats in the assembly polls, which are due later this year.
डिसेम्बर મહિનામાં ગુજરાત પ્રદેશના ભાજપના મુગટ પર લગાવવાનો છે અને એના માટે ગુજરાત પ્રદેશ ભાજપનો એક કાર્યકર્તા તૈયાર થઈ જાય જે પ્રકારે નરેન્દ્રભાઈ દેશને આગળ લઈ જઈ રહ્યા છે જે પ્રકારે નરેન્દ્રભાઈના નેતૃત્વમાં દેશનું સન્માન દુનિયામાં વધ્યું છે ગુજરાતની જનતા માટે વિશેષ ગૌરવની વાત છે કારણ કે નરેન્દ્રભાઈ આપણા નરેન્દ્રભાઈ છે
एक नया जुस्सा आया है वर्कर्स में और हमारा पहला टारगेट जो होगा गुजरात का जो विधानसभा का असेंबली का चुनाव होगा। ऐसे रणनीति तो बनी हुई है ही, लेकिन इससे एक और ताकत आई है, मजबूती आई है और इससे मैं समझता हूं कि कांग्रेस को बहुत ही फायदा होगा।
And with the tension between India and China escalating, now Defence Minister Arun Jaitley on Wednesday said that the Indian armed forces were strong enough to meet any challenge to the country's security. Now, speaking in the Rajya Sabha, Jaitley said that India had learnt a lesson from the 1962 war with China, adding that the armed forces were made stronger in 1965 and 1971 wars. China, meanwhile, once again asked New Delhi to withdraw troops from the border area. The Chinese Foreign Ministry on Wednesday said that 53 Indian soldiers and a bulldozer still remained in the border area. India and China have been locked in a face-off in Doklam area of Sikkim for the last 50 days after Indian troops stopped the Chinese army from building a road in that area. Meanwhile, a Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, described the border standoff between the two nations as something not very serious. Now, asserting that any problem has to be resolved through talks, he said that the theme of 21st century should be dialogue. The Dalai Lama also called on the two countries to invoke the spirit of Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, stressing that the two neighbors have to live side by side in peace.
Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai. That's the only way. Big two nations. See, neither one have the ability to eliminate other one or defeat other one. So you have to live side by side. So for temporary, use some harsh word and a few sort of that problem. But I don't think much serious.
And world leaders have appealed for calm as the tensions flare in US and North Korea rift. Now, this came after Donald Trump's warning that the US is willing to impose unprecedented fire and fury on North Korea unless it stops threatening the United States with a nuclear attack. Now, Pyongyang has responded to Trump's warning, saying that it was considering a missile strike on the US Pacific territory of Guam and that the plan would be ready by mid-August.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
Tensions escalating in the Korean peninsula after Trump's statement. This after media reports suggested that Pyongyang will soon be ready with nuclear weapons capable of hitting the United States. Following Trump's warning, North Korea threatened strikes near the US territory of Guam and on Wednesday further said that it will be ready to fire 4 missiles there by mid-August if the plan was approved by Kim Jong-un. While Trump's warning was denounced as irresponsible by many world leaders, US State Department defended it.
Look, the president is sending a strong message to North Korea in the kind of language that North Korea understands. The secretary has talked in the past about how the president is a very effective spokesman. People listen to him, and those were the president's words, sending a message loud and clear to North Korea.
Global leaders called for calm and a return to negotiations, urging both Trump and Kim Jong-un to avoid any words or actions that might cause further tensions. United Nations Secretary General also said that he was deeply troubled by the in confrontational rhetoric.
Obviously, the Secretary General remains extremely concerned by the ongoing situation, and he's troubled by the increase in confrontational rhetoric that we've seen. The Security Council passed a resolution unanimously over the weekend, and we obviously reiterate our welcome to that commitment to a peaceful and diplomatic and political solution to the situation.
Who am I to engage in a conversation with the President of the United States? But we noted what he was saying. I think that our strong wish is that the United States keeps calm and refrain from any moves that would provoke another party into actions that might be dangerous.
More than a dozen demonstrators gathered in front of the White House on Wednesday, calling on President Trump to launch talks with North Korea as a way to avoid a nuclear confrontation. Apart from international calls for restraint, Trump had to face ire from senators and congressmen as well, who described Trump's behavior as reckless.
It certainly doesn't help with our discussion with North Korea. It raises doubt in China and in our allies' minds, South Korea and Japan, about what our policy really is. And for South Korea in particular, but also Japan, they're right in the neighborhood of where the backlash would come if we chose to take some kind of military strike because we decide that we can't tolerate this vulnerability. They're the ones who are going to pay the price, and we can't actually exercise that military action without support from our allies. So we need much tighter message discipline and a better clarity on our policy over a long period of time if we're really going to make progress, I think.
Meanwhile, in North Korea, a massive rally was held in Pyongyang to protest against the UN's latest sanctions. North Korea, which has tested nuclear devices 5 times, launched 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles in July, claiming that it now had the capability to hit the mainland United States. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And that's all in this news edition. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.